Come on in, come on in, come on in. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. I can't think about what day it was. Happy Tuesday. Good morning, good morning. Hopefully, you enjoyed those soulful sounds of our live this morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, day 9. Day 9, we are in this thing. We are trekking along. We are still on our 21-day distraction detox, right? We are detoxing from distractions for the next 21. Well, we're day 8 into a 21-day challenge. So we are here. We are here. We are trekking along. We are doing well. I hope and pray that your morning is off to a great start. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I know it is 6 a.m. So most of us are just getting up, just cracking our eyes open. But we bless God. We bless God for another day. I bless God that you are here. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning to those of you watching on YouTube. I see you. Let me see Instagram. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Nice, slow and steady start this morning, but that's all right. This morning, I see we have a slow and steady start, but that's all right. Um, yeah, I see that things are nice and people are kind of creeping on in, but that's fine. I know today is Tuesday. Getting up. Let me tell you, because I'm getting up at 5, and listen, I can tell y'all right now. My bed is calling me, but there are things to be done. We are making decisions to do what God has called us to do. It ain't gonna always feel good, but you gotta do it. So good morning to you, you and you. Good morning to Shamira, Brittany, Faith. Good morning, y'all. Like I said, we are in day 9. So let's talk about it. We're in day 9. All right. We talked about yesterday. We talked about releasing the weight. Remember, week 1 was about identifying the distractions. So week 1, we had to identify the distractions. But now week 2, we got to take it a step further and start releasing some of those distractions. We have to make a choice in our detox that, okay, listen, I know I'm walking through this thing, but I have to make a conscious effort and a conscious choice to say, you know what, I'm not going to allow this distraction to be a distraction to me any longer. So we're talking about releasing distractions, but yesterday specifically we talked about releasing the weight. So today I just wanted to take it a step further, and I've been thinking through this, not just um for myself, but I was thinking about this this morning, and even last night. I was like, today we need to take it a step further. Today we have to really start fasting from what feeds our distraction. And usually when we hear fasting, and we talk about fasting, it's in the sense of some type of like abstaining from food or abstaining from a particular thing. So I want us to have that same mindset when it comes to the distractions in our life. We got to fast from the things that feeds our distractions. Come on. Yes, we do. We got to start fasting from the things that feed our distractions. And let me start here by saying this, that fasting is not about punishment. Okay, it's not about like, oh, I have to punish myself from not doing this thing so that because I decided to fast. No. So it's not about punishment. It's not even just about fasting. Is not just about preparation either. It's not about proving, oh, I'm strong enough to withstand this, or I'm creating. I'm strong, so I'm doing this. I really believe that fasting is about creating space, right? It's about creating space, because I really think many women, we say we want clarity. We say we want to be able to be focused. We say that we want to have discipline. We say all these things, right? And I really believe that we do. But we say we want clarity, but we continually feed the habits that create noise, right? Why is that? We say we want clarity, we say we want to focus, we say we want divine focus, but what we don't realize is we continue in the habits that constantly create noise, right? We want peace, but we keep consuming chaos. Come on. We say, and listen, I'm not throwing off on anybody. I know, listen, we be doing all the things, but we say we want peace, but yet we watch shows that's full of drama. Listen. I'm not. I'm just calling it out like what we be doing, right? We say we want peace, but we keep consuming chaos. We want focus, but we keep feeding distractions. We say we want focus, but the scrolling sometimes turns to comparison. We say we want these things, but we're feeding the distractions. And what I realize is that you cannot starve distractions while feeding them daily. Oh my God. We're wondering why the distractions are getting fatter and bigger and more they got more energy. It's because we are feeding the things that we said that we want to be removed from our life. Come on. So here we are. I was reading Joel 2 and 12. It tells us that it says, "Turn to me now while there is time and give me your hearts." This is God speaking in this. God didn't ask for performance. He asked for us to return to him. And I really believe that fasting is a form of returning. Yeah, yeah. Fasting is a form of returning. Oh, that's so good, even for me, because we just get to a space and place in our life where we begin to say, okay, I need something to happen. I'm in a way. I'm in emotionally. I feel like I'm slipping. I just, sometimes we get into a mood where it's just like life is doing its thing, and we're just like trying to locate and trying to feel like, okay, God, what's happening? Okay, God, what you're doing? You know what I mean? And I really believe. I really, really do believe that fasting is a form of returning. It's a realigning. It is a resetting. Come on. Oh my God. We got to understand that. Good morning, Lex. We got to understand what fasting does for us. It is a return. It gives us time to resettle. Come on. So I want to create that type of space where we can just go where it's not performative. Come on. We don't got to perform. We don't got to put on for anybody or anything. We can return, we can realign, and we can reset. Yes, come on. Even if you got to take a mental, even if you do a mental fast and say, like, look, listen, for 30 minutes a day, I just need time to just be. I need to shut the world out. I need the demands, everything else. It got to take, I got to rest mentally. So I want to like identify, like I really want today to be one of the days where we identify one thing that's feeding the distractions in our life, right? What's one thing that's feeding the distractions in your life? Not everything, because there may be other things, but I just really want us to focus on one thing that has been kind of like a distraction that we are feeding, and we are constantly feeding it, that we don't realize like we're giving it more energy, we're giving it more stamina, we are giving it the opportunity to distract us further. Right? Because listen, transformation begins with intentional focus. And if we're going to be in our season of divine focus, then we got to understand, what that thing is that's feeding the distractions that we are trying to overcome. So, what feeds most people say, okay, well, what can be feeding my distractions? I'm so glad you asked. But what feeds distractions can include things like constant scrolling on like social media platforms. It could even be negative self-talk. You're constantly speaking negatively to yourself and about yourself. And sometimes it's not even a blatant things like I'm not good enough and this, that, and the third. But negative self-talk can be like, man, I'm probably never going to get to that level, so I'm not even going to try. It can be the subtle things that we say to ourselves. You know what I mean? So things that can feed your distraction is also over checking messages, rehashing and replaying scenarios in your head, thinking about things that you could have said, ways that you could have communicated. That could also be a distraction. Complaining is a distraction. People pleasing responses, they are distractions. Being consumed with news overload, that's a distraction. Comparison habits, those are distractions. I mean, it could be a litany of things, but I just want you to know. Good morning, Sylvia. I want you to know that what's feeding your distractions can include all of those things. But what consumes you consistently shapes how you think and feel. Think about that for a minute. The things that consume you consistently, they typically shape how you feel. And I'll take it even a step further and say, not only do they shape how you feel, they shape how you see yourself. And let's be honest, we resist fasting from certain things because they comfort us. I remember one time I was doing a fast and we had to eliminate something that, we did like habitually. And when I say habitually, that means like routinely every day, right? And I was in a place where, I was eating ice cream, but I chose to fast from social media, which at the time wasn't even a problem for me. And I think some of us do that. We try to take the easy way. Or like, well, I'm fasting. But are you really fasting from something that's going to challenge your daily habits? Are you really fasting from something that's going to be an inconvenience in your life? Are you really fasting from something that you need help with breaking the stronghold? Just think about that. Come on, let's be honest. We resist that fasting from certain things because they comfort us. But if we're going to say we're going to be in this distraction detox, we have to identify one thing that's feeding the distractions in our life, and we got to fast from that one thing. Because some of us, listen, we resist those certain things because they comfort us. But what we don't understand is sometimes scrolling and numb stress, complaining releases frustration, overworking distracts us from emotional pain. You see how subtle those things are? You see how subtle it is? Like scrolling, it numbs your stress. Complaining releases frustration. And overworking distracts from emotional pain. But comfort is not always healing. Because what comforts you temporarily may be keeping you stuck permanently. Woo. What comforts you temporarily, come on, may be keeping you stuck permanently. That's why when people try to numb themselves with outside devices like alcohol or sex or drugs or even like overcompensating, people pleasing, those things are all temporary. Realizes things like that, vices like that, they keep us stuck permanently. So I want us to understand what fasting is. It's not just about food. This is about fasting from distractions, things that are feeding your distractions. So fasting exposes dependency. Where are you depending on? What are you depending on? Or who are you depending on? Right? Fasting exposes dependency, reveals it. Mm. Good morning, y'all. So fasting exposes dependency, and dependency reveals where healing is needed. Yes, come on, you can't stay comfortable. So I just want you to think about one thing that's feeding a distraction in your life. Acknowledge it, but we got to do something about it. If you know whatever, I mean, social media sometimes is the easiest one to pick on, but if you know, like, okay, this may be feeding my distraction for a little bit, limit your time on it or completely have like 1 or 2 days where you completely fast from it. If you know it's like a particular like group of people that kind of puts you in a place where you're like, this does something to me when I'm around these, eliminate yourself from the conversation sometimes. It's no shame. It's just awareness and coverage. Let me tell you, it's one thing to be aware, but you got to be courageous enough to say, you know what? This ain't doing nothing for me. I got to go. This ain't doing nothing for me. I got to eliminate it. This is not doing nothing for my purpose and what God has for me. I have to remove the distractions that is keep pulling me into this situation. Where it's not about proving we're strong. It's not about proving that we are creating space for us to develop and to discern the things of God that He has for us in our life. Because listen, when we remove distraction, one of three things will surface. Oh, that's good. Oh my God, that's good, Sylvia. Let me see if I can read this. Yeah, well, yes. So Sylvia is saying for those on YouTube who cannot see Facebook comments, on Facebook. Sylvia's on Facebook, and I think that's so good. She said that her distraction was having a dating life. So consumed with looking on dating apps, I was taking time away from my word. And sometimes, it may not be that extreme for us, or it could be even worse for you where you're doing things. But the fact that you are becoming aware of what is distracting you from the things that really will help you and develop you is a good sign. And not only do we need to be aware, now we need to take the step and be courageous like Sylvia and not allow those things to consume us and to control us. Come on, we need to take a step further and say, okay, now that I have the courage and I have the strength, this thing won't be a crutch for me. It won't feed my distractions. I'm going to identify, like, yes, this is something that I want in my life, a relationship, companionship, love, and romance. Yes, there's nothing wrong with desiring that. And I believe that you can pray for what you want, but what you cannot do is allow that thing to become a crutch in your life that you are making now your dating life your God. And sometimes we don't realize we do that. We put our wants in the place of God, and we begin to idolize what we want over what God said. Oh, that's so good. And what we understand is when we move a distraction, one will happen. And that's, it's just good to identify what it is. So when you remove a distraction, one of three things will surface in your life, whether it's restlessness, whether it's emotions, or it may be clarity. Don't run from what surfaces. We got to learn to sit with the things that are uncomfortable. Sit with it. Because when we talked about this on day one, God will meet you in the quiet place. When you get to a place where you begin to silence all the noise around you, He will meet you in that place. He'll meet you in your quiet place. Matthew 5 and 6, it tells us God bless those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Satisfaction, it comes when we hunger for the right things. Yes, come on, lean on him. Woo, baby, you are preaching this morning. Because that's true. It fits into what we said. Satisfaction comes when we hunger for the right things. You know what I mean? Like, why do you want what you want so bad? Is it for the right thing? So we got to release what we have depended on that was taking the place of God in our life. And we got to ask God for strength to create a space for clarity. God, give us the strength. And then to also to be able to recognize what's been shaping our thoughts, what's been shaping our emotions, what's been shaping our focus. Sit and unpack the uncomfortable things, right, Faith? Faith said you got to sit and unpack that bag. Sometimes we look at and we identify the thing that we may be struggling with, the thing that may be causing distraction in our life, but we are scared to touch it. We're scared to really deal with it because sometimes it makes us uncomfortable. But we got to get to a place where we sit with those things that make us uncomfortable and we begin to unpack it and say, you know what? Okay, I'm going to choose you. Okay, God, I'm going to choose you over this distraction, but give me the strength to deal with this and to sit with it and to unpack it. So while we're in that quiet place, we gotta say to ourselves, okay, God, I choose you over distraction. I choose my purpose and plan over this distraction. God, I choose clarity over comfort. Yeah, I want to be clear. I want to be committed. I want to be called. I want to be sold out for Christ. So you know what? I'm going to choose clarity over being comfortable in the moment. God, I know you've called me to a specific place and space, but I haven't said anything because I don't know if people are going to accept it. I don't want to hop on live. I don't want to launch the podcast. I don't want to write the book because God, I'm a little nervous. I'm this, I'm that. I'm comfortable. But me walking in my purpose is going to make me uncomfortable. And I'm telling you, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's not comfortable to wake up at 5 a.m. and hop on live and encourage, women all the time because I'm human. And there are some uncomfortable places in my life that I got to sit with and unpack. But when you walk in the purpose and plan that God has for you, even as I am doing what He's called me to do, this is nourishing my spirit. Come on. I'm starting to unpack some things that I see as I'm speaking to you on this thing. That word is hitting me in my heart, and I'm realizing, okay, Sharita, you got to do something different. Sharita, you got to step out of your comfort zone. Sharita, you may got to go a little step further. And that's okay. Because I'm choosing clarity over comfort in this season of my life. I'm choosing freedom over habit. Come on. There was a time where I was chasing people down. I felt like I had to, what's the matter? Why are you doing this? Why are you leaving? Why are you not apart? Why are you this? Why are you that? I was so consumed with the feelings and then trying to understand everybody else that I got to a point and I was like, you know what? God showed me that what I have is for you. And it may not be for everybody else. Therefore, I called you for such a time as this. And that time and that season is going to change over periods of time. And we have to be okay with that. We got to stay in a place where when we repeat this to God and we say this out loud and we say, I've released what distracts me. I've released the people pleasing. I create a space for clarity. And I hunger for what gives me life. Come on. I choose God over my habit. And that's what some of us need to declare. I choose God over my habit. I choose God over people pleasing. I choose God over being comfortable. Come on. We got to speak to ourselves sometimes in that way and understand that what God has for us is so much bigger than what we see with our natural eye. Come on, this is why some of us we need to play for discernment because we look in with our natural eye, not understanding what God is doing in the spirit for us. Come on, we got to choose freedom over habit. Come on. We got to choose freedom over habits. We got to understand this in order to fast from the distractions that are in order to fast from the things that is feeding our distractions. We have to understand that every time we release something that is feeding our distraction, it creates room for us. In every room that we step in invites clarity, and clarity leads to transformation. Ooh, yes, it do. It leads to transformation. Come on, Lex. Yeah, it's too much greatness on the inside of you. It's too much greatness on the inside of us. On YouTube, for those of you who are on Facebook, on YouTube, Lex wrote, "Woo, I needed this because currently I'm going through a season of stepping out of my comfort zone." And let me tell you, it's not. I know we make it seem like it's easy to step out of a comfort zone and to really pursue the purpose and plan that God has for us, but it's not easy. It's not always easy, and I say that because we get to a place where, we're human, so we want people to kind of applaud us, or we want to have support. We want to have people show up for us. But are you willing to show up even when it's just you and God? Listen, are you willing to show up when only one person is supporting you? Are you willing to do that? And let me tell you, I had to get to a place where I don't care whether it was five of us in the room, I'm going to host the meetup. I don't care if it was one of us in the room, I'm going to host the Galentine's event. Let me tell you something. At one point, it was only like 2 tickets that was registered. By the time we looked up, it was over 25. By the time I got there, I think it was maybe 20 of us in the room, 22, 23. I don't know what it was. But let me tell you something. Even if one person shows up, even if one person buys the book, even if one person subscribes to the channel, even if one person, logs on to your live, let me tell you something. You are doing something far more great than anybody can ever say because you decided to step out on faith and allow your clarity and allow your purpose to make room for you. And let me tell you something. Every time you release what God has for you, it creates room. And every room invites clarity. And the more clear you become, the more transformation takes over your life. And as long as you do what God has called you to do, you will find your circle. Come on. Clarity leads to transformation. The more clear that you become, the more transformed your life will be. Come on, I believe that wholeheartedly. The more clarity that you have, it will lead to transformation. And the more that you are transformed, the more not only will it change your life, it will change every life that is connected. So you got to understand is you cannot starve distractions while still feeding them daily. I told you this. We say we want peace, but we constantly consume chaos. We want peace, but we fill ourselves with reality TV that's nothing but drama. That's chaos. And we think that just because it's not directly impacting our lives in the moment, the more that you feed the beast of chaos, the more chaotic your own personal life would be. You can't pray for peace, but feed chaos. Come on. So for those of us who are trying to eliminate the distraction, we got to understand that there are some things and some instances and some habits in our life that we say, listen, I got to fast from the things that are feeding my distraction. So if social media is feeding the distraction in my life, then I got to fast from social media for a moment. Or if comparison, or if relationship, whatever it is that's feeding the distraction of your life, I want you to identify that thing. Maybe an hour a day you fast from it. I don't know. You got to sit with God and ask him that. It's hard, when people try to tell you what to fast from, I always will caution that. Sometimes there is a mandate if you sit under a spiritual leader where they say, okay, we're corporately fasting from this, and this. That's one thing. But sometimes you got to really dig deep and look inside your own life and say, okay, this right now is kind of a stronghold for me. I can't put this down. This has become a routine in my life. Then I will implore you to sit that down and think about that thing and say, you know what, God? I'm going to give this to you for a season. I'm going to give this to you for a moment and fast from that thing. Because in order for us to be divinely focused, we have to keep our eyes stayed on Jesus Christ. But more practically, as human, as women of God, we have to begin to make a conscious decision that I'm going to put this down. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to take the leap of faith. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to start doing the uncomfortable things. I'm going to bring the thing that I know I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to get closer to that thing. I'm going to launch it, write it. I'm going to show up in spaces where I wouldn't normally show up because I don't have nobody to go with me. I'm telling you, do one thing this week that's going to test your comfort zone. One thing this week that's going to test your comfort zone. If it's hopping on live, if it's promoting your business to someone in person, if it's making the effort to say, you know what, this is no longer serving me. This friendship, this relationship, it doesn't serve the purpose and plan that God has for my life. I got to step away. Do something hard. Do the hard thing this week. And I'm telling you, watch God be in that pursuit. So my prayer for us this morning is to be able to fast from the distractions, fast from the things, that's feeding the distractions that are in our life. As we are coming to a close, I just want to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and release it. We are in the season where we are releasing the things that don't serve us. We want to be focused. And remember what I said, you cannot starve distractions while you are feeding them daily. We're not here to perform. We're looking for it. We're trying to return. We're trying to realign. We're trying to reset. And let me tell you, sometimes releasing people isn't always easy. It's not always easy, actually, to release the people in our lives because we get so worried about like what are the external things. What are they going to think? What are they going to say? How are they going to feel? But sometimes we got to take it a step further and say, how do I feel? We got to be selfish in a moment and say, how do I feel? What is this doing to me? How much of a detriment is this to my life? And we got to be honest with that. We got to be honest with it. We got to sit with the uncomfortable things. And like we said earlier, we got to be okay with unpacking it layer by layer, layer by layer. Don't skip it. Don't skip the process. Go through it. Does this fill my cup? Does this push me closer to where God is calling me to be? When I'm around these individuals, how do I feel? Come on. Yes. Oh, y'all on the road this morning, and I love it. I love the comments. I love what you guys are saying on Facebook. Because it's so true. We gotta sit, we gotta be okay with sitting in the uncomfortable space and sitting in that and unpacking it layer by layer. It's okay if we cry. It's okay if we are upset. It is okay if we don't know what to do with the emotion, but I'm telling you, it's better to unpack it than it is to suppress it. And think about this, the people who love you, the people who really care, the people who really want, a relationship with you, they'll understand your boundaries and they'll do what's needed to adjust so that they can still fit into the purpose and the plan and the place in your life that brings about healing, transformation, and focus. So people who feed your dysfunction, they are not the people that you need in your life that's going to help you function. Okay? So, understand that. And we're going to pack this a little bit more tomorrow. I'm telling you, we're going to go a little deeper. Listen, we're going to go a little deeper tomorrow because I see it, I feel it, I understand it when you got to make these decisions. And we're going to talk about what it means to be in uncomfortable situations and still be able to unpack the uncomfortable things without losing focus. Ooh, because don't lose focus. Don't allow these people, don't allow these situations, don't allow these things to make you lose focus. So y'all make sure, listen, let's make sure we are back on here tomorrow, 6 a.m. for day 10. Come on, y'all. We trekking along. Sylvia and Ashley, thank y'all for yes. Come on, Faith. You got to get comfortable with telling God when, yeah, let me tell you, God can handle it. Look, we about to go, but y'all keep talking in the comments, and I'm trying to like respond. But I'm telling you, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get deeper because my thing is, I really want to see us walk in true transformation. And I know what it feels like sometimes to be stuck, to feel like, because we're not really truly stuck. God has always created a way of escape. Let me tell you, I already told y'all, He is the type of God that when you feel like you are out of options, He will part a Red Sea for you. And then He will double back and part a Jordan for you. Okay, so He's never out of options. He will call on manna from heaven. Come on, don't make me preach this morning. But He will call on manna from heaven when you feel like you are out of options. So you're never out of options. And you never have to stay in a situation where you are feeling like this is not good for my nervous system. This is not good for my spiritual walk. This is not good for my own thinking. This is not good for my mind, my heart, my will, and my emotions. Let me tell you, God is never out of options. When He part the Red Sea, we have to make the decision to walk through it. Walking through on dry land, that's a complicated situation. That's an uncomfortable situation. But we got to do the uncomfortable things. We got to do the uncomfortable things. So I pray this morning that God begins to work. Oh, come on. I'm praying for God to put us in some uncomfortable situations. Come on, Ashley. Come on, Sylvia. Come on, Faith. Come on, Brittany, whoever's watching. Come on, Lex. Those, I'm sorry if I didn't say your name. Those are the only ones that I see that has been active on here. But if you are watching this, I'm praying that God starts to put you in some uncomfortable situations so that you can begin to release, come on, the things that are feeding the distractions that are keeping you stagnant, the relationships, the friendships, the one-sided companionships, everything that is standing in the way of you walking out the purpose and the plan that He has for you in this season of your life. No more. No more. No more in Jesus' name. Oh God, we thank you that this will be a season where the uncomfortable things become common and we begin walking out the purpose and plan that God has for our lives. This is your season of divine focus. This is your season of divine focus. This is your season where clarity will create rooms and your rooms will create transformation. This is the season you're going to walk in it. And I pray that this community of women, I pray that Wholelistic Women becomes the foundation, the turning point. I pray that this community becomes like a springboard for you, that the more you connect with this community, the more you kind of jump into the programs, the more that you come to the events, the more that you are around like-minded women, that this will be the springboard for your next, and that transformation begins to happen because you begin to see yourself and the identity of the women that you surround yourself with, and that God honors it and he blesses it and he pushes you forward. So I thank y'all for this morning. I thank y'all because even this morning with your comments, with your with your talk, with your discussions in the comments, it really is blessing me and it is encouraging me to even get more comfortable in being uncomfortable when it comes to holistic women and how we lead this community. So I thank you for not just your, watching this, but your participation. Each and every one, all seven of y'all. I'm sorry, and the ones on YouTube, and my lovely ones on YouTube. I'm sorry, y'all too. All of y'all who are watching, you don't understand the part of purpose you are playing even in somebody else's life. So I thank you. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Happy Tuesday. Have the best day. And I'm telling you, set your alarms for 6 a.m. tomorrow. You don't want to miss this conversation. Let's go. Have a great day. Tell somebody, connect with somebody today in the group. Connect with somebody, share this with somebody, invite somebody into the group. And I pray that you have the most amazing day. I love y'all real big, real bad. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.